I think this is working. Sorry to be late. This is Shasta with Facebook Live Friendship Fixes, which I've been trying to do every Friday through the month of September for Frientimacy month. And I'm late today because I'm visiting friends in Phoenix. We're having a girls' weekend, and we couldn't get the Wi-Fi working at the house. And so one of my girlfriends, Michelle, you get a cameo appearance. Yay! She's like driving me around so that I can get Wi-Fi and get on here to fix the friendship. I keep telling myself it's not life or death if we don't get on, but I did commit to being on, so we were trying to make an effort to do that. So I'm visiting two girlfriends. We flew in from we're all high school. Actually, I think all three of us went from first grade to 12th grade together. So a special weekend where we're just kind of reconnecting. And so I'm committed to doing friendship fixes even here. So here I am. But I'm going to keep it short this week and just do one email on something that we probably all know a similar experience of. It is, what do you do when you find out that friends are visiting a city that you live in and didn't look you up? And we all know that feeling of being, just kind of sometimes easy to get hurt feelings, right? If we feel like if we assign the meaning to it that we weren't important enough or they didn't care enough about us to do that. And so I'm going to read the email and then give a little bit of perspective, hopefully, that we can all keep in mind when we're in similar situations. And if you have a friendship fix that you would like me to address, then I'm going to post the link, shastanelson.com/friendship fixes, and you can submit any friendship fix that you want me to cover anonymously. And I'm happy. I think we all learn from each other, don't we? Like when we hear somebody else's story, it's so easy to it's easy to apply it to our own, even if the circumstances are a little different. And so let's look at this one. So this girl writes and says, the problem I have, my friend came through my city without even calling me to try to set up a time for us to meet. I heard about it from someone else. We used to be best friends, but clearly we're not anymore. I was so hurt and angry that she could claim to be my friend, but not even care about seeing me when we were finally near each other. My question, should I even try to talk to her or just take the clue that she doesn't care and turn my back on her? We all know that feeling, and Facebook and social media sometimes makes it even more complicated these days, doesn't it? Because we see the photos sometimes of them having visited near us, and we think, oh, that would have been so fun, or we want to feel that we matter, right? That person wanted to see us. And so I'm gonna, in this exact scenario, there's so many things I don't know. I don't know how close these two people are. I don't know how in touch they are. I don't know, if this is like what the feelings between the relationship were in this moment, or what the purpose of this person's trip was, and all of those factors. But we do know what it feels like to just not feel like we matter enough to somebody. And so what I wanted to do is, I wanted to talk about it from two perspectives. One, I actually happen to be one of those friends that often does not call my friends when I come into town. In fact, the other girl that I'm here visiting, Heather, I've come to Phoenix before and had girls' weekend. Oh, Heather's watching. Hi, Heather! I'm going to bring, Heather, can I bring you on camera? I'll bring Heather on camera here in a second. But I don't even know if I know how to do that. But she's at home, and Michelle and I are driving around. But I've come to Phoenix before on girls' weekend and not called Heather to be able to get together with her. And so I was asking her today, does that hurt your feelings? And so we're having this conversation a little bit. But as somebody who travels quite a bit, I'm always very I can assure you, I guess I'll go this way, I can assure you that I've never traveled somewhere and said, oh, I hope I hurt this person's feelings. I hope they know I don't want to see them. Like, that's never crossed my mind. It's usually that I'm going for a specific purpose. And for me, my trips are very purposeful. So I'm going for a girls' weekend, for example. So from beginning to end, if they're the one picking me up and we're doing this thing together and then they're dropping me off at the airport, like that's the goal of my time there. I'm not trying to see other people. Or I'm going for work and I need to see other work appointments and schedule things around that. Or I need downtime, or I'm going to see family, or I'm with my family, or I'm with my husband. And it's important to me, it's important to our kids, it's important to our family, whoever we're with, to feel like they're our priority. And maybe they have to share us a lot back in our normal life. And so when we travel and go on vacation, it's really important that our friends and family or whoever we're with feels like we're there with them and that we're present, right? And so I can assure you, as somebody who often doesn't reach out to my friends and to get together with them, that it is never that I don't value the friendship. I can promise you that. And one of the things I've tried to do to get better at least letting my friends know I'm thinking of them and I love them is, like, at least with my close friends, I'll try to text them and say, oh my goodness, it kills me that I'm going to be this close to you and not be able to see you, but I love you and I hope that I can come back sometime and make this work. And so I think one of the things we can do is at least reach out. And often we'd rather just think, well, maybe they just won't know, or we don't want conflict, or we don't want them to feel bad if they didn't find out. And I think one of the things we can just get better at doing is just remembering that mostly people just want to feel thought of and feel loved. And for us to be able to say, I'm coming through and it's making me think of you, and I see things everywhere and I just keep thinking of you in this city, to be able to let people know we love them and why we can't see them is really important. But of course, we're talking about a whole bunch of other friends that may not be the close friends, that we obviously aren't going to text and reach out to everybody. And this is becoming a big issue where I think we need to get better at not taking this so personally. That's what Heather and Michelle were saying today, is just that, it's easy. It's one thing to be disappointed, and I think that's legit and fair. We're disappointed that we don't get to see our friend, and that would have been fun, or we would have felt good to feel thought of or something. But to feel that disappointment and just be like, what that says to me is I would like to be with that person. I would like to spend time with that person. And so take the disappointment and kind of channel it into, like, okay, that tells me I need to reach out to her. That tells me I should maybe post on Facebook, I'm so glad you had fun in this city, and if you're ever willing to come back for a girls' weekend, I would love to host you, or that kind of a thing. So it's not so much guilt for not doing it this time, but it's using that disappointment and saying, that's information that I like this person and I care about this friendship, and let me fuel that into believing the best, and now use that to try to strengthen the friendship. And I think that would be a much, much better approach. I was sharing in a class last weekend, a lot of the class I was teaching on loneliness, and a lot of people really responded well with this next teaching point. So I want to share this with you before I go. But Dr. Arlene Taylor, she's a brain function specialist, and she says that 85% of relationship conflict and disappointment comes from three things. So most of our disappointment, hurt feelings, and all this stuff, and I think it's very apropos in this setting here. She calls it JOT, J-O-T. So any JOT behaviors, she says, are 85% of the reason that most of our friendships are being damaged. So J stands for jumping to conclusions, O stands for overreacting, and T stands for taking things personally. So JOT. So 85% of our relationship issues come down to us not of exhibiting JOT behaviors. So in this situation, this is a perfect example of a behavior, right? So we jump to conclusions, and we think, oh, she must not really like me, and we overreact, and we feel hurt, and we turn it into be like, well, I guess we weren't really good friends, and we take it personally. And so if we can realize that most friendships are being affected and ruined by those three things, and they kind of all go together, don't they? It's hard to do just one of them without doing all three of them. And if we could just stop and say, okay, that's disappointing. I would rather strengthen this friendship and take the wisdom and use this to help strengthen that friendship. And I don't want to be at risk of doing a JOT behavior, of jumping to a conclusion. We don't know why this friend was visiting town, maybe. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if her family's been giving her a hard time and needing her attention. We don't know if she's here and, feeling stressed about having a certain goal, certain things that she's trying to accomplish with her husband. We don't know if she's got work stuff. We just don't know. So let's not jump to conclusions. Let's assume the best. Let's ask questions maybe. We don't need to guess. Let's not overreact. Let's not diminish the entire friendship or devalue her or how much she loves us. And let's try not to take it personally. That one's hard. They're all hard. But we do so much taking things personally. And if we can just step back and remember, Shasta's visiting, and she probably isn't waking up being like, I really hope I'm sending the message that this is all personal and that I don't want to see you and that I don't like you. And that's just never even crossed most of our minds. And and as we know people everywhere, it becomes very hard. And most of us know the feeling of being scared to post that we're somewhere. because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to make our friends scared to post, have to hide, feel bad. We just want to be people that assume that they would love to see us when the circumstances work out. If it's important to us to see them, then we can make that effort. We can say, I want to come see you, or can you come visit me? Let's get on the phone. And so my invitation to you, I hear your disappointment in this email, and I hurt for you, and I just want to say, without knowing the factors, I don't know if everything's been going well in this friendship before this point, I would say please don't turn your back on her. Please don't take this personally. Please, when you say, should I even try to talk to her or just take the clue that she doesn't care? I don't think she's sending that clue. Let's assume she's not. Even if she is, let's assume the best until proven otherwise. Let's give our friends the benefit of innocence. Like, that's what friends do, is assume the best, and until it's very, very, very clear. But we don't want to just take signs and say, well, if I were in her situation, I would have done this, because we just don't know. I often think of just like my husband, when we travel together, he's looking forward to a romantic weekend. He doesn't want me distracted trying to meet up with people, and he's looking forward to having just our time. And that's an okay thing. That's a good thing. But we just have to be careful to know, we don't know the dynamics. We don't know what people are experiencing, what they're hoping for from that trip. And that does not reflect on how much they love you. It simply reflects on what they're doing on that trip. And that's okay. Our friends have lives, they have goals, they have values. The most important wisdom, I think, is just take the information that you miss her, that you love her, that you value her, and ask yourself, what's one thing I can do to reach out to her and to communicate my appreciation of her. So I'm going to, just before I wrap up, I'm going to see if I can bring Heather on. I've never done this before, but I'm just going to see if I can do it. And there we go. Is it working? Oh, Heather might not even have... Heather, you'll have to write a comment, because it's not pulling you in, but write a comment and you give your advice. You've been on the other end of me not calling you. So yeah, the lighting in this car. There we go. So anyway, that's my hope. That's my prayer, is that this friendship doesn't have to come to an end. I think about me not calling Heather that one time, and how sad if she had ended the friendship and taken the clue, so to speak, that I didn't care about her, because here I am visiting, and here we are hanging out together, and we've had so many good moments since then. So please, 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 give your friend the benefit of the doubt. Reach out to her, tell her you love her, and try to find some time to be with her. All right, that's all I've got. I'm going to hang out with my girlfriends, and hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And let's just practice not doing the jot behaviors, not jumping to conclusions, overreacting, or taking things personally. All right, leave a comment on which one of those you tend to do the most, and what you found to be helpful in not taking things personally or jumping to conclusions or overreacting, and let's learn from each other. Have a great weekend. Bye.